talking about masks, talking about vaccines, and the group called Let Them Breathe is not happy about all these mask mandates, and they're going to let them know about it. We're going to talk to the founder and some folks, including a school teacher here in Vista, about why they don't want to put masks on their kids and why they don't want the mandates. We'll have that for you coming up in a live report in just a minute. But I will tell you, it's a little warm out here, Francella, about the 90-degree mark, I'd say.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Let Them Breathe group is protesting outside of the Vista City Hall tonight, hoping to have their voices in their children's educational future heard. And now they are opposing the governor's new mask mandate for California schools. KUSI's Dan Plan joins us live from the Vista Civic Center with a group there. Dan?
Yep. We've heard from this folks before, of course, Let Them Breathe. They were created when all these mask mandates came down and it started spreading out everywhere. You have to wear them into businesses. Obviously, all these things are coming back. And now it is the school mandate that all school kids 2 years old and up, that's right, 2 years old and up are going to be mandated to wear masks if they actually go back into the classroom. And yes, Let Them Breathe was founded by Sharon McKeeman, and she has been sort of fighting, I guess what you'll call government oppression this entire time. Good evening to you. Tell us what you're doing here.
Yes, so we are here. We have had 5 to 10 rallies before school board meetings every single day all over the state for the past few weeks because so many parents are just fed up. They're saying the government shouldn't be parenting. They shouldn't be doing the school board's job. So we're rallying against that.
Yeah. So what is the biggest beef? Is it the masks? I obviously Let Them Breathe, but now we have the vaccination.
Exactly. So we have been advocating for an end to mask mandates. We have sued the state of California over that, and we're waiting for our hearing on that. However, yesterday we are hearing that the tyranny is just going to all new levels now, where it's actually been mandated that all school staff are going to have to be vaccinated or test weekly. And our teachers are empathetic. They're intelligent. That's why we trust them to educate our kids. So shouldn't they be able to make their own educated health decisions? Our academic community shouldn't be coercive places. If someone wants to take the vaccine, that's their choice, but they definitely shouldn't be forced to or lose their job.
Yeah. This is one of those one-size-fits-all deals, too, as well. You know, the entire state of California is not exactly the same when it comes to this Delta variant that we're talking about, and clearly there is a surge in cases. What are you calling for? Local control? I mean, what is it that you want?
Well, we want an end to state mandates, to government overreach. We are for choice in every area of people's lives. And so the school board should be able to make their own decisions, but that should also include mask choice, choice over vaccination status. Every teacher, every student, every family should be able to make their own educated decisions and not be forced into anything.
Thank you. Speaking of teachers, let's talk with one out here. And I see you brought your child out here as well. Tell everybody at home who you are.
My name is Nicole Reich, and I'm a first grade teacher in Vista Unified.
And who is your baby?
This is my daughter, Riley, and she'll be going into kindergarten this year.
Oh, my gosh. All right. So you have a personal stake, not only as a teacher, but as a parent. Tell me how you feel about this.
I just feel like it's all wrong. As a parent, we've been restricted in our choice for what we want to do, what we know is best for our kids. And now as a professional, I'm being restricted and told what I can and can't do in my own medical decisions. And none of it feels right.
Right. Is it because you're being told what to do, or is it because you don't believe that the mandates work or the masks work? What is it?
All teachers have been given a choice, and all districts have made it very easy to get the vaccine if you wanted it. So those who wanted the vaccine got it. Those who didn't. And I feel like a mandate really isn't necessary.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. And today, what are you going to do tonight? What are you hoping to accomplish out here? This is a school board meeting, right?
We just want to show the school board where we stand and show them that parents are not okay with the decisions that they're making for our kids.
Yeah, but as a teacher.
As a teacher, I'm hoping to be a voice for my coworkers who are too afraid to speak up.
Wow, yeah. Because there is a lot of sort of intimidation going on right now. Talk about that.
A lot of teachers are afraid that they're going to lose their job. They're afraid from parent pressure. And so a lot of teachers support choice for their students, but they're very afraid to speak up.
All right. And this young lady, this is your daughter right here. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Good afternoon.
Yeah, tell everybody who you are and why you're here.
My name is Derek Greco, and I'm a parent, a local business owner, and I'm an American. And when you no longer are given a choice and you're forced into something, that's not America anymore. And that's why we're here. Is we don't want to see people's rights and freedoms taken away. For those that want to choose the courses of action that they take for their own health, that's up to them. But we're going to take our own health in our own hands. And like I said, when it's no longer a choice and it's pushed on you, that's not America anymore. And we're going to stand up until we make sure that everybody has a choice.
All right, Derek, thank you so much. Very well spoken. And there they are, him and his daughter, teacher and their daughter, Sharon as well. And more people will be showing up. We understand they're actually going to have a rally out here in the streets. Possibly up to 100 people will show up. I know the last school board meeting, there was 100, and that's why this is an overflow meeting, by the way, because the other one was so big. But by the way, let me ask you this, Sharon. You just said that there's some interesting rules and the rules for just getting in here sort of rub you wrong.
There were so many parents that showed up to speak their voice that half of them couldn't get into the district office. So Nicole, the teacher, advocated for them to bring it to a larger location. However, they are not live streaming because they know that then those parents will be on video and could possibly end up on national news calling them out. And they also are saying that they have to wear masks, even though it's only recommended indoors. And so anyone who's unable to wear a mask or unwilling isn't going to be able to speak in person at this meeting about mask choice.
And no live stream on this.
No live stream. So people, hopefully they'll capture these comments on their phone. We'll still get them out there on social media. We'll still get it out there to the news. And hopefully these parents' voices will be heard.
Well, KUSI always gives you a voice, Sharon. As you know, the people in our community have a voice, and we like to hear that voice, certainly, and this is one of those opportunities. So thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you back here at 5 o'clock. So throw it back to you guys. See you back here at 5.
All right, Dan, we'll see you at 5. Appreciate the live report. Thank you.
San Francisco will start requiring proof.
So throw it back to you guys. See you back here at 5.
All right.
And good evening, San Diego. Dan Plant, we're coming to you live from Vista, outside of the Civic Center, where there is a school board meeting. And the reason it's here is because there was so many people at the last one. This is an overflow crowd they could be expecting. This group is basically saying, let them breathe. They don't want the mask mandates. They don't want the vaccine mandates. And quite honestly, they're tired of being told how to live and what to do. So we're going to talk to these folks coming up in a live report, find out what's on their mind. There's a lot at stake. We'll talk about it coming up in a minute outside of the Vista Civic Center. But first, say hello to Francella. And it gets a little...
But first, the Let Them Breathe group is protesting outside the Vista City Hall tonight, hoping to have a voice in their children's educational future. And now they're opposing the governor's new mask mandate for California schools. KUSI's Dan Plant joins us live from Vista with more tonight. Dan.
Hello there. And as you know, some of the schools are already back in session. Some of the schools are quickly getting ready to go back in session. And you got a lot of mandates that are trickling down from Sacramento once again. And quite honestly, after a year and a half of mandates and being told what to do, a lot of people are saying, enough is enough. You know, we can control our own families, we can control our own lives, and we can control our own health. All of us have been educated as to what's going on out here. We understand the risks and the benefits from a variety of things that we do. We've learned a lot over the past year and a half, and there they are, the Let Them Breathe group, end the mask mandates, restore smiles. We just had a group out here sort of talking, a couple of teachers, and the woman who actually started this group, and that is Sharon, and she is joining us right now, and she has her sign out there, and a big smile, by the way, which is part of your deal. Let them smile, right?
Yes, all about smiles. Our kids are just going through such a difficult time, and every single smile they see, every single bit of connection helps restore their mental health, gives them hope to get through this difficult time we're going through.
Right. And what is your big problem with this? I mean, is it the mandate part? Is it the wearing the mask? Or do you not believe the health? What is the deal?
Well, we know that the masks are not necessary or effective for our children, and we know that they're hindering their education. We just heard from a teacher who teaches in a bilingual classroom. She's trying to help kids learn how to speak English, and she's saying that they're not able to learn if they're not able to see how her mouth forms the words. And then also there's just the aspect of these government agencies, they can't figure it out. They disagree with each other. They reverse 2 weeks later, and they're telling us to just blindly trust them when we know as parents it's not good for our kids. But for instance, the governor of New York just resigned. So these government officials, they're not just fallible, but some of them are actually corrupt and unethical. But as parents, we're trying to raise good humans, and we feel like we know how to do that.
Do you feel like that you're a silent majority out here? Because the group, you know, it's large, but it could be larger. I mean, it appears as if, and as I've talked to teachers, there's sort of an intimidation factor out here. When you speak up, you become the victim of attacks by certain groups.
Definitely. Teachers and healthcare workers that are having these vaccine mandates forced on them, they're saying that they are scared to speak up. I just had someone call me about union intimidation that they were going through. But at the same time, as far as parents, they're not being silent. They are coming to board meetings if they can get off work in time, right? They're juggling dinner time and work and getting to these board meetings. And boards just aren't listening to them. The politicians just aren't listening to them. And that's why we had to file a lawsuit, because we found in California, it doesn't matter how vocal we are, how much we put forth common sense. And even if our kids speak up, they're not going to listen a lot of times unless a judge makes them.
All right, Sharon, thank you so much. This young man, how you doing? You are a school teacher. Good to see you. Tell everybody at home who you are and what brings you out here today.
Yeah, so my name's Nick Brust. I am a teacher at a private high school here in North County. I'm a parent, a husband, and I'm running for. I made the decision to run the same reason why everyone's out here. Just fed up with leadership, especially in education. I have so many things to say with all that's going on. I don't want to reiterate what Shannon and everyone said about mass choice. We need to give power back to parents, communities, local entities over what's going on in our schools. The mask mandates, now the vaccine mandates for myself and other teachers and healthcare workers, it's creating an environment that's hostile. It's not a place that kids are going to thrive. We need to be setting up our students into these educational environments where they're free to learn and play and live their lives.
Do you find that having a mask hinders their learning ability?
100%. Yeah, masks they've created this, again, it creates this hostile environment to where it's, as a teacher, it's hard to know who a student is. If a student comes in with a hoodie on and a mask, you don't know who that student is. For me, speaking in a mask it's muffled. It's not school. It's not what school. Everyone's saying that if we can just get kids in masks back in school, yeah, that's better than distance learning, but it's still not school. We shouldn't be pretending that this is something normal, or this should be something that should be carried on into the future for an unknowable amount of time, which is the path we're on.
All right, and that obviously triggered you to run for office and run for the county school board. We're here with the attorney for this group. Hello, tell everybody who you are.
Yeah, Scott Davison, and I'm the legal advisor for Let Them Breathe. One of the issues we're talking about today is what's in the news, which is that, you see the state is trying to mandate, vaccines for all of our educators, for our healthcare workers, and that eventually it's probably going to trickle down to our students. So what we're really looking at is the problems around mandating a vaccine and what the goal is. And so if the goal is to prevent, infections and transmissions in school, well, we already have acknowledgement from the CDC that that's not what the vaccine does. The vaccine prevents severe disease and death. It doesn't prevent kids from getting sick or teachers from getting sick and then giving it to other people. We've seen lots of breakthrough cases now to kind of show that. So what the schools are now doing is they're either mandating tests for everybody if you're not vaccinated, or in some cases they're starting to backtrack. Stanford yesterday announced everybody's going to have to get a test, even if you're vaccinated. So what this is going to do is in school districts like Los Angeles Unified, San Diego Unified, where they're going to be testing every student, as much as they can every week, whether you're quarantined or not, we're going to see this massive demand for tests, and it's going to take days and days, sometimes weeks, to get the test results back. In the meantime, your child's going to be home, not being able to log in and watch their classroom like they were last year. They're just going to have homework. And then if you're a teacher, like you saw at Cathedral Catholic, you're still going to have lots of vaccinated teachers that are going to get infected, and they're going to be told to go home even if they have no symptoms, right? And so then you're going to have to close your school down, just like we did last year. You're going to have to delay your school opening, just like Cathedral did yesterday. And so one of the issues in our lawsuit is that we need to be more realistic with the science of who needs to be tested, who needs to be quarantined, what's the risk. If you're vaccinated, your risk is near zero. If you're a child, your risk is near zero. So we've got to stop kicking these kids out of the classroom where they need to be learning. One of the issues they're talking about is to get the masks off so they can learn. We need them in the classroom first, so we've got to correct that too.
All right, thank you so much. Once again, they're planning on going into the school board meeting here tonight. And well, look, I just have to close with this because this is sort of a weird situation. I guess it's not streaming and you're fighting masks and they're going to force you to wear a mask to go in.
Exactly. We had a teacher advocate to come over to this facility because there were so many parents they couldn't all fit in the district office. But now they're not going to live stream because I feel like they don't want these parents' voices out there. And then they are making them wear masks to come in and say that they want to take the masks off. Makes a lot of sense, just like the rest of this government overreach, right?
All right, thank you so much. There you go. This is the group. I think it's going to get a little bit bigger as time goes by. People will be getting off work. The actual meeting starts at 6:30, and we will be back at 6 with more on this, you guys. Obviously, a very, very tough topic for everybody out here in our society today. We'll have more at 6. See you then.
All right, Dan, we'll check in with you next hour. Thank you.
The Let Them Breathe group protested outside of the Vista City Hall tonight, hoping to have their voices heard in their children's educational future. They are opposing the governor's new mask mandate for California schools. KUSI's Dan Plant was there.
They represent a new breed of community activist, modern-day version of freedom fighters, if you will. And like the freedom fighters before them, they've been sparked into action for what they consider government overreach and oppression. In this case, sweeping government mandates for every school kid in California to wear a mask, vaccinated or not.
And there have been so many people just driving by, honking, getting encouraged by these smiles. It's important for people to know they're not alone in this fight for choice. We've been fighting for mask choice for months now, and now we're also standing for choice as school staff is being told that they have to vaccinate or test weekly. And Let Them Breathe is for choice in every area.
With some schools already back in class and others soon to follow, this is a community cry for action. They call it Let Them Breathe. It's a battle to at least have a voice in their own children's future. Today, that message being delivered in Vista.
We are trying to get every single school district that we can to stand with us as parents because they need to get local control back. They should be able to do their job. Whether there's a state mandate in place or not, they're still our representatives, which means they need to represent our voice.
Since day one of the coronavirus government lockdowns, the governor of California has used his so-called emergency powers to supersede and override the personal freedoms of millions of Californians. More than a year and a half later, after he granted himself those powers, the one-man rule continues with the one-size-fits-all solutions.
And I'm a parent, local business owner, and I'm an American. And when you no longer are given a choice and you're forced into something, that's not America. Choose the courses of action that they take for their own health. That's up to them.
Seeing what this has done to my students, my classroom was a somber place last year because of all the protocol that we have in place. And I'm tired of treating my students like they are sick all the time. It is so mentally detrimental, and I can't see this done to another child.
Adding to the vice grip over education, there is now a state mandate for all school employees to be vaccinated or to be tested every week. That, along with the mask mandate, has prompted a lawsuit against the state.
One of the issues in our lawsuit is that we need to be more realistic with the science of who needs to be tested, who needs to be quarantined, what's the risk? If you're vaccinated, your risk is near zero.
The politicians just aren't listening to them, and that's why we had to file a lawsuit, because we found in California, it doesn't matter how vocal we are, how much we put forth common sense, and even if our kids speak up, they're not going to listen a lot of times unless a judge makes them.
So with the lawsuit filed and the grassroots movements growing, they bring the Let Them Breathe message to the local level. A message this school board apparently does not want to share with anyone outside of this room.
We had a teacher advocate to come over to this facility because there were so many parents they couldn't all fit in the district office, but now they're not going to live stream because I feel like they don't want these parents' voices out there, and then they are making them wear masks to come in and say that they want to take the masks off. Makes a lot of sense, just like the rest of this government overreach, right?
And as they went into that meeting to fight mask mandates, something very interesting happened. Essentially, the school board shut down the meeting before it started and walked out, saying that these parents need to put on masks or they're not going to have the meeting. That's what's happening right now. Off to the left is where the meeting was, where everybody is standing out in the hallway right now. And off to the right is the city council chambers, where the school board apparently moved over there and said, we're going to start all over. But you can only come in if you're wearing a mask. The battle lines have been drawn out here, that is for sure. And one of the people from the school board overheard them saying, feel free to email your comments. Feel free to email. That's our democracy. We're in Vista. Dan Plant, KUSI News.